Mresura featured mo chat.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Good morning. Good morning.
Zambia Blog Talk Radio is giving you a chance to win a ticket worth 500 kwacha to attend a lecture by Professor Patrick Lumumba. What to do to stand a chance to win? 1. Join our live broadcast on Zambia Blog Talk Radio Facebook page on Saturday starting at 16 hours Zambian time. 2. Comment to win. Winners will be picked on Saturday, 11 September 2021, starting 16 hours Zambian time. Ticket courtesy of Eden University. A public lecture. Topic is Zambia the Blueprint for Democracy in Africa. Hosted by guest speaker Professor Patrick Lumumba.
Hi everybody. That's amazing. You see that? You see that post right there? That's just amazing. We're taking this thing to a new level. Welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio, September 11th, 2021. I hope you are all doing well. Please tag a friend, tell them the show is live. You can also, if you don't have Facebook, tell your friend we are on YouTube, ZBTR TV. ZBTR TV. That's where we are. So we do want to encourage you to join us and to be part of the discussion. Well, hi everybody. Once again, it's Zambia Blog Talk Radio. My guest today is supposed to be the mayor of Greater Chipata City. He just sent me a message here. Now, I'm trying not to look at the phone and then be talking here. I don't know what he has sent me here. Everybody, send a message, tag a friend, ask him to join us. We shall be getting underway here right now. And as we get to listen and discuss with our young mayor of Chipata here and hear what he has to say. A lot of activity in Zambia. Those of you listening, those of you in Zambia, if you comment on the show, you'll stand a chance to win that $500 worth ticket to hear Professor Lumumba speak at that event in Lusaka. So that's what is going on right there. So keep commenting, tag your friend. If you're not on Facebook, go to YouTube, ZBTR TV, and you're going to join us on that one. I don't know what our guest is saying. I forwarded the message to our technical producer here, and I hope he does join us. I'm looking forward to this discussion for many reasons. Okay, and the interesting things, this election witnessed, I think, 2 or 3 major things. Young people turned out in their millions, if you want to use that expression. Women stepped up big time. And secondly, we had a lot of clergy people also stand up to the plate and to participate. So that is the issue here. I hope Mayor Mwanza from Chipata does join us. I have a lot of things to talk to him about, and other people as well. So that is what is happening here. And that is what we are going to be doing. Okay. So, okay, all right. He says he's on the road. Network is bad. You can't do this when you're on the road. You have to be in a place where the network is good. Let's see what happens. If he is able to join us, that will be good. I did ask other people to come in. Campbell, good morning. Let me send you this link so that you're able to come here so that we talk. I don't. Okay, what are you saying, Campbell? I want you to come in. I'm sending you the link right here. Okay, come. Hello, NASA Houston. We always love you when you come in. For those of you who would like to comment or to talk to me, we have a WhatsApp number there. I think that's Mr. Charlie's cell phone number. We have a WhatsApp connection. You can call us on WhatsApp, I believe, and you'll be able to talk to me. Gambo, I sent you the link. Come on, I want to talk to you here. I can't be mumbling by myself. My head is full of a lot of things. From here, yeah, Bella, your young mayor says he's on the road and the network is not good. You can't do this when you're on the road. When you need network or Wi-Fi or internet, whichever expression you want to use, it doesn't work well when you're on the road. You have to be in a place with consistent connection to Wi-Fi. I had sent a link to a few people. If they could join us, let's see if they will be able to do that. Gambo, I sent you the link. Join us. Come. Let's talk. Bali opened Parliament. I don't want to go that route. I'll leave that for Roger to talk about that. I want to what? I want to talk about other things here, and not. Yeah, I didn't. What's up? Yeah, there we go. Yeah, Cambo should be joining me here. I need somebody to talk to. My mind is full of a lot of things that I need to do. Immediately following this, I'll be. Oh, the mayor is here.
Hi, good afternoon. Greetings to you.
I hope you won't. I hope you won't drop as we speak.
Yeah, I'm traveling, so then I'll try my level best to be available.
I hope we won't lose you. There we go, Bella. You got what you wanted, ladies and gentlemen. The mayor of Greater Chipata City, His Worship, Mr. George Mwanza. George, tell us who is George Mwanza? Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Thank you so much. My name is George Mwanza. In my city, I'm popularly known as Young Mayor.
Young Mayor, okay.
That is a household name in the Greater Chipata.
All right.
So I am a Chipata boy, born and raised in Chipata, from a Ngoni mother from Paramount Chief in Bezen at Ngocho village. I was born in 1994, on 18th of January. So from 1994 to date, I'm exactly 27 years.
27 years, okay. So, I mean, where did your interest for public office start? How did it start? When you're only 27, you're supposed to be working at a commercial bank or Chipata doing something. How did the interest for public office start? Where did it start from?
Absolutely. My mother has always been a marketeer, selling vegetables at a local market in Chipata.
What is it called? What is the market called?
The market. So I grew up going to her stand to help her sell vegetables.
Yes.
And every time I'm at the market, I always notice that a lot of people at this market with very few amenities, like adequate space for public toilet and many other things.
Yes.
So I felt that growing up, I felt I needed to make a difference and provide what is needed for the women trading at that market.
Wow.
But there was nothing I could do about it at the time. So when I went through primary and secondary school, I finished my school at Chizongwe Technical School, a local technical school in Chipata. So now whilst there, I was a prefect. I vied or aspired to be in the school leadership. I always knew that for me to be able to make a difference, I needed a platform through leadership.
Yes.
And that didn't stop me. And then going through higher education, I said that I'm now done, so I have to be available for the local people and provide leadership so that I can be able to.
Okay.
But the main reason why I picked to aspire for leadership as mayor is that I am a very passionate community worker, having grown up from a very humble family. I knew that local government,
Okay. That's what happens when you're on the road. I'm enjoying this, everybody. Tell us, comment in the comment section. Just let us know where you're watching or joining us from. Please remember that if you comment and you post, you have a chance to win that 500 kwacha ticket to go and listen to Professor Lumumba speak, I believe, at Eden University. Is it Eden?
Is the very critical government.
Mayor, you're breaking up. You are breaking up. Okay, yeah, like I was saying, that if you comment, you tell us where you are watching or following us from, you have a chance to win that 500 kwacha ticket to go and listen to Professor Lumumba.
Hi. Yeah.
But Mayor, I didn't hear anything that you said. All right. The other reason, yeah, so you were saying, is there a way you can stop, we talk, and then you continue the journey?
Yeah, you are right. Yes, you are right.
Find a nice place to stop, and then we shall be finishing in about 30 minutes here, then we'll let you go on your way. So I'm gonna ask you to say what you were saying. We didn't hear anything. So the other reason you aspired for office was?
Are you able to?
Okay. Gladys, talk to John. I don't know, just find out what he wants. Hey, Campbell. Campbell, can you hear me? I can't hear you.
I think I'm also having tech issues. I'm sure you can hear me, but I can't hear you. So give me a second.
All right. So the mayor is frozen there.
All right, give me a second.
Good morning. How are you doing today? How are you?
Can you hear me now?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
What's up? What's happening? Your headphones are not working?
Yeah, somehow my I think I need to update my software.
You guys and software. Me, I just connect things and they work. What software are you talking about? I'm going to report you to our ZBTR family, the audience, what you did to me.
What did I do?
So, me, I asked Cambo, I'm like, oh, I'm looking for some microphone, blah, 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 and stuff to improve my broadcast. And he sends me a link for a microphone for what? $500 or $2,000? You a Cambo.
You wanted quality. What did you want me to do?
I'm not going to spend that amount of money on a microphone. So when you heard me say, I'm going to bring a young mayor, what went through your mind?
Excitement.
What did he say?
He just wants a link. So
Okay.
I can send it to Zambia. So
Okay.
should I put it on the group or send it to him?
Send it to him direct. Yes.
Excited. because I think we've talked about young people
Give me
participating.
the phone. I can send it to him.
Yeah, send it to him because he might take it.
Sorry, Campbell.
No, that's okay.
Mm-hmm.
No, I was saying that, it was excitement for me because, we've talked about young people participating in the political process. And oftentimes, I think we've relegated that to them playing just a supportive role in terms of cadres or even party roles. But to have them now stepping into leadership, it's very, very encouraging, especially in their 20s. I think that that is a great thing. I hope, though, that we are not creating lifetime politicians, right?
How can you? That's a very good point that you raise. Whilst we wait for him to come back, I really want to talk to him because I've got some serious questions for him. Lifetime politician, Campbell, you're
Right?
very brutal. We have people who have been in the Senate and Congress in the US who are 90-something years old. What's wrong with that?
No, and even here in the United States, we're talking about term limits, right? Where there's that debate that is happening. Should we have term limits on senators and congressmen and women? Yes, they get reelected every time, but should we set a limit as to when they should retire from active service? And I think that's really fair, because I think that the longer politicians stay in the arena, then we have the situation that we've had in Africa, where we've had presidents who are in their 80s and 90s. Ruling until their death. So if we say we have not just term limits, but also an age limit, you've got to retire at some point. But anyway, to say that it's exciting to see a young cadre of leadership coming in, gives us hope for the future.
Yeah, but for those that are watching us, actually, there are 3 mayors under 30 years old. I wish I had that picture and shared it with all of you here. Mansa Mayor, Kafue Mayor, who is a very popularly known young lady, Bumba Malambo, and then George Mwanza Kuchipata, the one we're talking to right now. If possible, I intend to have all 3 of them appear here and talk to us. Bumba has been here before when she was doing charitable work in rural Kafue, and then she became a councillor. Now she's the chairperson. I think in Kafue, they don't call them mayor, they call them chairperson. So 3,
That's
Mansa,
nice.
Kafue, and Chipata, You've thrown a grenade at me. That's a very... We don't produce lifelong politicians, eh?
It's not true. And I mean, because that has been the complaint, right? That we have too many recycled politicians. But the
problem we have is we let people, when their political party loses election, and let's see what happens with the PF. It becomes a trend that party it slowly begins to die off.
Yes.
Okay. I hope that's not going to happen to the PF, because we do need strong opposition political parties, just like the UPND was.
Yeah.
And the other problem, Campbell, in my opinion, is that our Zambian economic infrastructure or marketplace, whatever terminology anybody wants to use, does not have so many opportunities. The point I make is that here what happens is that when somebody retires or they leave the political arena, they what? Hi, Aaron.
Aaron is also having my issues, see?
No, all these people from Chipata, they want to be on the show and be on the road. That's a problem.
Okay.
Only a person from Florida can say that.
Yeah, of course.
I'm saying that, what do you call it? We have a scenario like here. You have seen it yourself. You and I live here in the US. Somebody leaves public office, they become a professor at the college, they are taken on as a consultant in some firm or whatever. What I'm trying to say is the job market in Zambia isn't that broad. It needs, that's why people cling to their political positions, don't you think? Number one. My second question is, did they pass the law for term limits in Zambia?
I don't think so. I could be misinformed about that, but I don't think there is a term limit. But I think if we don't have it, I think that's something we should look at. I think two things that you have raised: a strong opposition and why the political parties die. I think that it is as a result of the lack of decentralization, right? Because income, council income, is dictated by the government. And so if you have, for example, a patriotic front mayor who wants to deliver for his people in his town, but is in the opposition, and the government, at least the past trend has been that the government wants to support their own people so that they can be re-elected. That's where you find all these defections happening and the weakening of the opposition. But if we do have a truly decentralized system where even income is earned and generated within the towns and cities, then the can have some semblance of autonomy in driving their developmental agenda, because then they can perform and deliver as a patriotic front mayor and run on that ticket again based on what they have done, and not So I think that the reason we have a weak opposition in Zambia, opposition parties die down, is because of this lack of equal sharing of developmental funds and across the country. So
wow, I like that, equal sharing of developmental. So basically, our politics are more enshrined in the party rather than the candidate selling their capability to deliver. Because I've seen, again, I know people will be saying, don't make a comparison between the US and the whatever. Our political whatever needs to change.
Yes,
it needs to change, because I think, to your point, Campbell, I think the reason why people defect is because they realize that, oh my goodness, if I stay in the party that has lost the election, I do not have a chance to continue in my position.
Exactly. And next time you won't elect me because I have not delivered. So what do? I join the party of the day, and therefore weaken the opposition until another opposition rises. But that is kind of retrogressive for our country, So in order to form a strong opposition party and a multi-party state, there has to be this equal sharing of the national pie across the board, regardless of party affiliation, et cetera, et cetera. Otherwise, we're just going to have a revolving door, and we're going to create lifelong politicians.
Lifelong politicians, 27 years.
27 years.
So basically, what I hope, what's his name? The Mayor Mwanza joins us back. Hi, Aaron, are you good? Bambongambi. Okay. If you are on, we cannot hear you. I think he's having technical issues. Yeah, today is just another day. Okay, so candidates need to learn to sell their potential or what they have done, or based on their record, what they have achieved, their vision, their programs, and things like that. That's what is going to work. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, but that developmental agenda is, of course, driven by money. And either the mayor, for example, is very good at creating partnerships between the opposition and himself, and therefore is in the good graces of government, and is a very good advocate for the people of their town. Have the same issue where you have a non-performing mayor, because they are limited in how much income they can generate as a city council, and they're limited in the projects that they can do. But if they can work in tandem with the town clerk and local government, and there's true decentralization, because we talk about decentralization a lot. I think we talk more of it in terms of function rather than, because true decentralization means that there is a local generation of income, and a majority of that income stays in that locality for the development of that locality. Otherwise, have decentralization in name and not in actuality, you know.
So that brings us to the point. The issue you're raising, Cambo, is that now we are talking to the Minister of Finance here, where, in other words, they have to dismantle the central the central system of funds going into a central fund, right?
Yes.
That has to be dismantled, where Eastern Province will have its own account where it receives the taxes paid in that province, all the utility fees, services provided, whatever. There. One thing I'd like to understand, I don't know, this is the other question I had for Mayor Mwanza, is that, you know, the fees that the marketeers, he said his mother is a trader at the market in Chipata. Okay. The bus at the bus stations, there are those fees that the buses pay. There are those fees that the traders pay. What I wanted to understand from him is, the council, of course, has got an account. Do they have access to disperse those funds, or it goes into a central account for the Ministry of Local Government and Housing? You see the type of questions I have for the mayor?
Yes. And I think it would be good for him to shed light. My understanding is that that kind of revenue that is raised through trading licenses and at markets and bus stations should stay within the council for the maintenance of those facilities. I think that is what the Local Government Act entailed. The only thing is that I don't think that kind of revenue is sufficient enough, because a trading, like, imagine if you're running a business, the cost of a trading license versus the taxes that you pay to ZRA cannot be compared. So could we benefit from a system that says all the taxes that are collected by ZRA within a locality, a certain percentage has to go to that locality, and then the huge share of the pie goes to the central government? Otherwise, we'll have decentralization only in name.
Roger, welcome. Did you hear that point we are dealing with here, which I wanted to ask the...
Well, Nathan, you've been on this radio for a long time. When I've complained about Lusaka, that's the complaint. When we complain about Lusaka, so when you hear people say decentralization, it is decentralization without power. It is local control without power. Power meaning money.
Yeah.
Meaning money. Here where we live, my small town Okotoks, they collect. They've got their own property tax. It's a huge sums of money come from there.
Those are the things I'm talking about. Like AMA rates on houses, on commercial properties.
Yes.
Obviously, Chipata City Council does collect those funds. So where do they go? Kulusaka?
No, property tax are there, but our property tax base, like Chipata, cannot be that big, which can support a town or a city.
Okay.
No, they still need some form of revenue. But talk about places like Kazungula. Kazungula is a border town. Who is collecting money there? It's ZRA, not Kazungula town.
City Council, yeah.
Nakonde. Instead of collecting the money, huge sums of money coming through Nakonde. Where is that money going? It's going to account. What do they call that account again? Account 999 what? Bank of Zambia. And the money goes there. Is the money going to make it back to Nakonde?
No.
Good luck. Good luck. That's all we can say. Good luck, that money. If you never share 300 million, 30 million, all that corruption. They have always made the argument, Nathan, Zambia or Africa as a whole, this is our greatest weakness.
Yeah.
It is the massive nature of our central government. So even with HH in power, without true decentralization, his full potential will not be realized.
Yeah, it's true.
Because no matter how smart, how educated a minister of education will solve Mwasabombwe, will know the needs of Mwasabombwe. At the same time, they will know of the needs of Borokoso. At the same time of Kasempa, the same time of Luwingu. No matter how sophisticated you are, you can't. Over here, I mean, Manaoko talks to Alafura Sana Abantu. We need a school here. Oh,
Yes.
Isare Musebu hapa. You know, abana bakale pitapo, pantu pali congestion sana ne nyotoka. But those are experiences you are seeing every day. Not kukweba phone awe. You know? So if there is next independence, anyway, we just got second independence from PF. If there's going to be third independence for Zambia, it has
which shouldn't be the case, in my opinion. Shouldn't be the case.
It has to be the local control. If people can be trusted in Mansa to make their own decisions to a certain extent, make their decisions. In America, education is run by Ayama Sharama Port.
Yeah.
Yes, they know better.
Yeah.
They
Independent districts, that's what they call them.
They know better.
Yeah.
So this is our biggest weakness, even with the young ones. I hope they can be innovative enough, where they can start raising money. But the way the system is made, it is made to worship Lusaka. That is the way everything is made. Unfortunately.
And all the development takes place in Lusaka. Go ahead, Camp.
Yeah, and you know, the thing is that American system of mayor rights, but
yeah, welcome back, young mayor.
Thank you so much, Nathan, and thank you so much.
All right, let's try to hit some buttons here. Generally, you are a Chipata born and bred child. You've said that yourself. You decided to stand for this position. So what is your vision? Where do you intend to take Chipata City?
Well, Chipata has various problems. We are moving from a weak mayor council system to a strong mayor council system. What I mean is that before 2016, we had ceremonial mayors. Those are the people that we had. Those are the people that we had. So when the president then signed the new constitution, the Act number 2 of 2016, it gave birth to the creation of elected mayors, which means that the people elect mayors directly instead of councillors electing mayors. So this gives me an opportunity to save the people, and the position of mayor gives me an opportunity to interact with the lowest citizens at the community level. And that is what makes me happy, because I would like to be part of the change of Chipata City. Chipata City has various. We have a city that is full of young people. There are a lot of youth in Chipata, and many of these do not have anything to do. Those that are trying to do business, the council hasn't been able to create an enabling environment for them to flourish in their business. So I'm coming in as a well-known youth activist that has been speaking on behalf of the youth and on behalf of the vulnerable communities, the marketeers and many others. So I would like to implement what we call the Mayor Empowerment Initiative program, aimed at supporting women that are doing very, very little businesses, and the youths that have a lot of talents and want to be able to grow in business. And even those that are seeking job opportunities, they need a voice in the office of the mayor to be able to advocate for equal distribution of opportunities from central government and any other source of those opportunities. That is what I'm bringing in Chipata. And I'm also bringing innovative leadership, because previously we had leadership at the helm of Chipata City that were full of limitations in terms of what they would be able to bargain for our city. So I'm bringing innovation because I come from a digital age kind of leaders. I'm a young man, and a young man born and bred in Chipata, grown up witnessing a lot of problems that we are facing. So I'm bringing innovations and innovative means of putting our city in the right place, that young people can be able to have opportunities. The women can be able to have a voice that will be able to speak for them in order to reduce abject levels of poverty, so that we can be able to have a city that will be able to sustain livelihood, that will be able to stand up and say, we are part of Zambia and we are part of the larger society that should be able to benefit from the opportunities.
Okay, young mayor, before my colleague here, Cambo, comes in, what is or what are the main sources of revenue for the council? Number one. Number two, do those funds... Okay, let's see. I hope you'll be able to hear my question.
We have to figure out in Zambia, right?
Yeah. Let's ask him to mute his
camera.
His camera. Yeah.
But it's just on a voice,
yeah,
right?
He's just
Audio,
talking.
right?
Yeah.
Mayor, eliminate the video. Let's just have audio. Can you hear me? Mayor, can you eliminate your video? Just do the audio. Just do the audio.
Just do audio. Just do audio. Take off the camera.
Yeah, just do audio.
Okay.
It will help with yeah, just do audio.
All right, thank you.
Let's wait for you to do that before I ask my question. Okay, maybe you can, whilst you're figuring that out, we good? Uh-oh.
No, or did we lose it now? One of the things that is going to drive innovation and is going to drive the economy is internet service. Because I think it should be a priority for the Zambian government to offer everyone around the country and good internet service. And you've seen what the internet has done for us over here. Democratization of the economy, etc., etc. So anyway, that's just a pet peeve that I have.
Yeah. Okay. Mayor, can you hear me now?
Yes, I can hear you.
All right, excellent. My next question to you before my two colleagues come in is, what are the main sources of revenue for Chipata City Council? How is it administered? Do you have access? Does the council have access to it, or it goes to a central account in Lusaka?
Okay. Well, the council has full access of resources generated from its jurisdiction. And the two main sources of revenue for Chipata City Council includes owners' rates, that is derived from the people owning buildings and various properties in the city, and the other source is licenses and levies. That is the other source of revenue for the city council, for Chipata, that is. And that resource is controlled by the council itself. And every council gets some allocation of support from central government. It comes in a form of local government equalization fund. And what has happened is that Chipata was declared a city from a municipality status in 2017.
Okay.
So what happened was that are you able to get me?
Yes, sir, we are hearing you.
You are able to get me?
Yes, Mayor, we can hear you. Mayor, we can hear you.
I think it cut off.
Okay, I think he's having network problems. Yeah. Okay. Owner's rate, licenses, levies,
Local Government Equalization Act allocation.
Local Government Equalization Act. The question is, what I want to. Mayor, go ahead. It's now called greater. What do you say? How do you say it? What's the right way to say it? Greater. Yes, sir. Yes, we can hear you. Go ahead.
Okay. So I was saying that Chipata was declared a city in 2017, and it moved from having a municipality status to that of a city status. Now, what needed to be done then was that the support from central government in terms of local government equalization fund was supposed to increase from 1 million kwacha to 2 million kwacha. The staffing increased from 200 to about 180 workers to about 400 workers. But what happened was that the support from central government at that time did not increase. It didn't increase. So what happened was that it put a fiscal pressure on Chipata City Council to be able to manage the extra wage bill that was given to the council by the Local Government Service Commission. So now, as it stands now, Chipata City has a total workforce of about 277 workers, and it has salary arrears by about 6 to 7 months. Workers at the council haven't been paid. So at a time now that I'm taking over the city as mayor, my workers at this council haven't been paid for about 6 months.
Wow.
The total amount of owings is about 14 million kwacha thereabout. So this is the council that I'm taking up, and the status of urban or township roads is very bad, and that the poverty levels in this city are unprecedented, and that there has been a lot of uncoordinated development that has been going on because of the proactiveness of the planning department of the council. In other ways, I am taking up leadership of this council in this state, and this therefore means that the expectations are very high on me, and I know that I'm very equal to the task. So here is the thing: in the first few days of my being mayor, I would like to sit down with my town clerk and senior management at this council to look at the revenue collection and management system of this council. Because I believe that there's a lot of potential, and I know there's a lot of potential in terms of the revenue that comes from this council. But what we need is to fix the system so that there's no leakage of resources. So in fixing the system of revenue collection and management of it, that one on its own will be able to save us resources. Okay. To begin to dismantle the certain areas that we have. The other thing is that a council is a body corporate, which means that it can be able to enter into business and be able to be innovative enough to raise resources. And I'm thinking that we must be as innovative as possible. Like, for instance, in our markets in Chipata, the status of the toilets, the public toilets, are very bad to the extent that no revenue would come out of it because nobody would want to use those facilities. So we want to rehabilitate those and provide leadership so that those facilities are habitable and they are fit for use from the public so that we can be able to grow our living sources. And also, we intend to enter into real estate by developing facilities such as office spaces and many other facilities that should be able to widen our revenue base as a council. So, in short, I am bringing innovation to this council, and I'm bringing hard work and just the drive, the leadership that I've always lacked. So that we can be able to dismantle the problems that I have inherited, first of all, and be able to be up to date in terms of provision of leadership at this council. But Chipata has a lot of potential. One of the other areas that my council will venture into is agriculture. Aquaculture, poultry, and many other forms of agriculture, because we are an agricultural city as Chipata. But no agricultural activities have been undertaken by my council. And I think that it's going to be another form of revenue that my council will be able to look at and explore as we sort out the problems that have been inherited at this council. So that is how Chipata looks like, being headed by a 27-year-old mayor, and as it were.
I like that.
By the way,
young mayor, before my colleagues come in, I want to know this. What's the population of Chipata?
The population of Chipata is about 580,000 people.
Oh my goodness, 500,000. That's a lot. That's a huge market right there for a lot of things. Cambo, Roger, questions for young mayor here as we wind up. 12 minutes to go.
I have a question for you, Mr. Mayor. So how much revenue currently is the mayor generating on, is the council generating on a monthly basis from your levies and honors rates, apart from the government allocation?
Okay, so the total wage bill for Chipata City Council right now is about 2.8 million kwacha. Okay. And the council generates about 900,000 kwacha thereabout per month. And between 900,000 kwacha to 1.3 million kwacha. So between that range, depending on how work is done. So 900 to about 1.2 million is the revenue collection of capacity of this council. And the government advances or supports this council with about close to 1 million kwacha every month as local government equalization fund. And 20% of the 1 million kwacha coming from central government is supposed to be used for capital projects, where the council should be able to do capital projects with a view of increasing its capacity to generate resources.
Gotcha.
So that is what goes on. So the total.
So, Mr. Mayor, basically speaking, your council is insolvent because if you're generating 2.8, I mean, your wage bill is 2.8 million, and you're only generating 1.2, and government is giving you at least 1 million. You have a shortfall of 600,000 kwacha. How then do you actually balance everything and actually drive development without increasing dramatically your income per month?
Well, so I have just won the elections, and I've just been sworn in, and I'm yet to be installed by a cabinet minister this week, starting tomorrow.
Okay.
So when I take office, the situation in Chipata is going to change, because I have studied the problem of my council and I understand it fully, and I know that this council has the potential to generate resources to up to 3 million kwacha. That I know. But measures needs to be taken, and it is that leadership that hasn't been done. So in answering your question in the context that you've asked, probably I would say that I am taking office to be able to address the problems that you have raised. So I know that I believe in the potential of this city. I have studied the problem and I've understood the problem, and I know that there's a lot of potential, and what we need is to provide leadership, and that is what we are going to do.
Excellent. Final question, Roger.
Yeah, Honorable Mayor, good to have you here. You said your council is in arrears 7 months. Is it 7 months or 8 months?
Yeah, about 6 months. Yes, this is the 7th.
What do these people eat?
Absolutely, yeah. You need resources to sustain daily living, and a decent income is a human right. Is a human right. Everyone is entitled to decent pay for the work done, and I am touched that really people can go for 6 months without being paid. I am taking office next week, and I intend to donate maybe some pockets of mini meal and some food stuffs to my workers, as I talk to them on my commitment to dismantling this problem of salary arrears. I don't know, and I don't know that these people, how they have been able to survive, but I should believe that probably their relatives or people here and there have been able to help them. But this also should tell you that if people don't get paid, one, there is no morale for work. Two, it breeds corruption. It breeds corruption and financial indiscipline, because then people have to survive. If someone will go for 6 months and then they still come for work, the first option is that they are stealing. The other thing is that other people are helping them. So firstly, we need to provide leadership by stopping this issue of people going for 6 months, half a year without any form of salary. It's uncalled for, and it should not happen under normal leadership. And that is what we are going to do, because if we pay people, they will be motivated, they will work harder, and they will met out the potential of corruption. So I must believe that there should have been a lot of underhand activities going on for people to survive, and probably corruption should have been one of it. But then we intend to motivate people so that people are paid, and when people are paid, then chances of them stealing or engaging themselves in irregular financial activities will be reduced, and the efficiency of my council in providing service will be enhanced. And that is what we are looking forward to: a new leadership, a new mayor, and a motivated staff at Chipata City Council.
Wow, amazing. Mayor, young Mayor, thank you for joining us. We shall definitely be checking on you 30 days, 90 days from now to see where you'll be. And we wish you all the best. We still have a lot to talk about. We shall check on you 90 days from now. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much, Nathan.
All right, safe drive to Chipata as you continue your journey.
Thank you so much.
All right then. All right, everybody. That's young Mayor of Chipata. He's on the road, so we lost a bit of time. There were a lot of things I wanted to discuss with him, but that's fine. We shall check on him 90 days from now. So we are running this promo. Let's have that promo here so that as we wind up here.
A 500 kwacha ticket giveaway. Zambia Blog Talk Radio is giving you a chance to win a ticket worth 500 kwacha to attend a lecture by Professor Patrick Lumumba. What to do to stand a chance to win? 1. Join our live broadcast on Zambia Blog Talk Radio Facebook page on Saturday starting at 16 hours Zambian time. 2. Comment to win. Winners will be picked on Saturday, 11 September 2021, starting 16 hours Zambian time. Ticket courtesy of Eden University. A public lecture. Topic: Is Zambia the blueprint for democracy in Africa? Hosted by guest speaker Professor Patrick Lumumba.
All right, you have a chance, those of you in Zambia, to win a ticket to attend that lecture at $500 kwacha worth price. Keep commenting, keep participating, and at the end of the show, in an hour, 30 minutes from now or 2 hours, the winner will be announced, and we want you to win that ticket. Okay, today there's going to be one winner, and next weekend there will be another winner. Keep participating, keep commenting, keep engaging, ask friends to come in, and you can win that ticket. Okay, so that's my show for today. Roger is picking it up from here. Like we announced last week, one of our team members and sisters here, most of you, before we came live on Facebook and YouTube, Priscilla, she was a regular commentator and contributor here. She passed away 2 weeks ago, so the funeral is today in an hour, so I need to run there and be part of this. Those of you in Dallas, Fort Worth, you can check the information on my Facebook page. You should be able to join us at 11 a.m. Okay, team, have fun. Keep commenting from Zambia. You can win that ticket.
Yes. You can win that ticket. $500 a ticket. So keep bringing that good stories, and we'll give you that ticket to go and listen to the great son of Africa. Yeah, go ahead, come.
No, I was saying you have to be specific. 500 kwacha.
500 kwacha. Dollars, that would be a whole different ball game. Yeah, welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio. My name is Roger, here in the prairies. It should be 9 here where I am, 9 a.m. and 17 hours in Zambia. Today we are going to go, as you can see in my background, the president gave a thunderous speech yesterday. So says social media and everyone who loves him. So we are going to go, Cambo. There's a list of people who are going to be joining us. Some of them are going to talk about agriculture, unity, digital age. And by the way, HH is coming to America, not to the United Nations, but he's been invited by Joe Biden. That's a big deal, Ben. That's a big deal, Joe Biden. So I think we said something about this, Cambo, if you remember the other week. What this new relationship between Zambia and America means. So we hope something good is coming. But yeah, your thoughts generally to the speech.
I think it was an awesome speech. I think that he hit a lot of points. I know some people were looking for more specifics, but I think the specifics of government policy are outlined in the budget, which will be tabled at the end of October. But in terms of setting a general...
End of October? Oh, wow. Yeah. I thought it was September.
No, I think they said October, man.
Okay.
Yeah. Because I think they can't do that unless they have some assurances from the World Bank and IMF, and I think that's what the president is also coming to cement when you look at his schedule. But I think generally giving a policy direction, it was a really, really good speech. And so we are looking forward to how all these policies actually become implemented, and see how exactly it helps the Zambian people. But you will see that, I mean, it was a well-received speech. I think the general sentiment was that the president hit all the notes.
Yeah.
So that's a good
I was thinking probably Lungu used to read the same, but just that we lost taste of him, he lost favor, we stopped paying attention to him. Oh no?
That is true. Leadership.
Yeah, by the way, I see Babimbe in the green room. You have come, but according to our, it should be UK time 17 hours. So if you don't mind, you'll be listening in. You can come and comment later. So we have seen you, Mr. Bimbe. Welcome. Yeah, go ahead. Come.
Yeah, I was saying that I think leadership credibility goes a long way. And I think that the former president lost credibility because he paid a blind eye to corruption. The development, so-called development that was coming to the country was on the back of a lot of debt. And then just the hooliganism and cadreism that...
Oh, man.
I mean, that was very, very discouraging. Zambia became a nation of hooligans led by, unfortunately, sections of the country led by, just violent hooligans. And so that erodes leadership credibility. And so he could have been saying the same things. He could have been actually outlining a very good vision for Zambia, but without credibility,
But he also didn't have that delivery punch. I think HH's voice has. HH seems to have a very strong voice. Sometimes when I look at his body and his voice, they seem to be panon. So, what was your what was your the highlights of the speech? What are some of the highlights of the speech?
Highlights of the speech for me, of course, you know me, Roger. I'm thinking agriculture.
Okay.
So agriculture was a highlight. Few concerns that I have, and it will be interesting to see the person coming to specifically address some highlights in agriculture to see what they're thinking. But
maybe we should take a call and hear what big man here has to say. Dr. Kalonde, welcome to Zambia Blog Talk Radio.
Yeah, Roger, how are you?
I'm well. We are discussing the speech. I'm not sure if you listened to the speech yesterday.
For the president?
That's correct.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, what was your take?
Yeah, it is a speech that meant well for the people of Zambia, and at the same time, it carried more information than the speeches that we've heard for the past 10 years. We've heard a lot of speeches for the past 10 years that were hollow and did not have any depth in them. You know that.
Yeah. So
like Zambia is now a new country that we've been crying for some time.
Yes.
And it's an embarrassment. It's an embarrassment to the people of Zambia to have allowed 10 years of their time to be thrown away with somebody who did not even know what they were doing in office.
Wow. That's an indictment right there. that's an indictment.
I couldn't even find time to write a speech that can have depth, not even an inch. It did not make sense for us as a country, honestly.
Yes.
We did not do a good thing for our children, for ourselves, and for our grandchildren. We killed ourselves as a country.
And that's a good point, Dr. Kalonde. HH's speech, you can tell the man read through it. He was in some places he will stop. Let me stop here and say this again. I never heard Mr. Lungu do some kind of emphasis like that.
How can he emphasize on things that he doesn't know? You cannot create you don't know.
Yeah.
You know, when you're just reading without thinking about what you are reading or even understanding what you're reading, you cannot make any emphasis. Because the emphasis comes from you now living this
reading, understanding. Yes. That's a good point.
You want now to illustrate to the people what you're talking about. That's what a person who understands what they're doing would do. Lungu stayed in that office doing absolute nothing. And I cried on this radio show. Even when you were bringing people, I cried on this radio show. That's why I decided to just walk out, because it was painful as a Zambian to see what was going on. It was really, really painful that we gave our 10 years of development. Zambia has gone back because of PF. It has gone back into the 20th century. We are back into the 20th century. We have to come out and do whatever we can do to get back into the 21st century. We are doomed as a nation. I'm telling you, it's a big job. HH might not achieve this in these 10 years. But at least we might have a starting point from what he's going to do. But the damage done by PF, guys, it's deeper than we can think and deeper than we can see. There is a problem in that.
Okay. No, thank you, Dr. Kalonde, for calling in, and we'll keep those. Someone was saying his volume was low. Kambo, were you getting Dr. Kalonde quite fine?
I was, though his volume was a little bit low. Maybe he can raise it from his end, yes.
Oh, okay. I was getting him just fine. But thank you, Dr. Kalonde, for coming. That's a good point, Kalonde brings Kambo. You know, when we see the emphasis HH would make in the speech, you could tell this man had taken time to read the speech and to appreciate what he was bringing to the Zambian people.
Yeah, I think what is important to realize is that I think what came through was that he was the driver of the vision, right? This was not a speech that was handed to him by somebody. Somebody may have begun the speech, but he had to make sure that it reflected his vision for Zambia, because one of the things that I think was missing, and we ignored this as Zambians, some of us raised the alarm when Mr. Lungu said he had no vision. And that came through. You cannot run with another person's vision, especially for a country. You have to birth the vision yourself. And so what came across in the speech, and that's why he was able to stop and emphasize, is that he was the driver of the vision. He was the driver of the speech. And therefore, it was internalized. So you could tell from that. He delivered it with passion. He delivered it with clarity. And he made sure that he was very, very clear on certain issues that he wanted highlighted. So,
yeah. A good friend of mine from all the way from South Africa, you talked about agriculture, is going to join us. Justin Maranoti is a good friend of mine based in South Africa. He will join us to talk about agriculture. Leah Chilengwe from the UK should be joining us. Part of that speech, I think that there was we cannot develop as a country, Kambo, if we are not united. It made it very, 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 very clear. I thought that was another highlight in my view of the moment in Parliament.
Mm-hmm. No, certainly. I mean, we cannot move forward as a country if we are not united. And I think unity, people mistaken unity for not having strong convictions. You can have very strong convictions but still be united. So on things that we need to be strong on, like corruption, we need everybody to be on board. Unity is not just in having a tribal representation, an equal tribal representation.
I like that.
That we as a country are moving together in a direction that is agreed upon. So
yeah. I like that that angle. Yeah. And then our good friend Victor is also going to join us to talk about the mining sector. This has been a problem for a long time. It's like we can't find a solution. You know, one of the arguments we have made is the miners, yes, they'll bring their expensive equipment, they will mine copper, they will mine whatever, but they don't want to keep their money in our banks. Mm-hmm. I don't know what really the African countries need to do to convince the mines. This is for their own benefit. When the African people benefit, they also benefit. I don't know. That has been a problem.
No, and I think we need to be also innovative in the way that we tax the mining companies in Africa, right? I think that there's always this issue of the externalization of profits, but we can come up with some ingenious ways of making sure that they spend money in Africa through tax incentives. So, for example, if you're mining in Solwezi and you're using our roads with heavy equipment, we are going to say that we're going to propose that you create a dual carriageway like we have here that is specifically for heavy duty vehicles. And you, as a mining corporation, you have earth movers and et cetera, et cetera. You can create that road and we're going to give you a tax incentive for doing that, right? What happens in the long run is that if they decide to go, guess what? We have remained with infrastructure. So we can be very innovative in the way that we tax mining companies and the way we create private-public partnerships. I think we have to be innovative, you know.
But remember, that's where we talked about local control. That's where the problem is. I remember Kansanshi Mines in Solwezi proposed to RB then when the Solwezi Chingora Road was so bad. Mm-hmm. Give us a tax break. Give us something. We are going to fix this road. We want the money. We'll fix the road. We want the money.
Yeah, but that's the problem, right? So that's why I'm saying government, like in India, for example, Caterpillar entered into a private partnership with the government where they constructed, I don't know how many kilometers of road. And they said to Caterpillar, you construct this and you can collect the revenue from these roads for the next 50 years. Guess what? They created a very, very good road network. And the government doesn't have to worry about spending that money because Caterpillar is going to recoup that money through the revenue collection. So it's government. The problem with especially Zambian governments is that they want the money in the big pot so that they can steal it, you know, and that is what has been happening. Yeah.
It is as simple. It is as simple as that. We'll take a small commercial break here. When we come back, we hope our friend will be joining us. We are running a giveaway, a 500 kwacha ticket. You go and see Professor Lumumba. Remember, Professor Lumumba was denied entry into Zambia by Mr. Lungu. So Professor Lumumba, friends now of HH, has been allowed to come into Zambia. As the Kaondes would say, Kambo, into Vikinga. You know, how is it that the immigration officers, the same immigration officers who said no yesterday, today they are saying yes, sir, yes, sir. You know, it is amazing. You know, yeah. I was looking at the pictures of HH, the way he was surrounded. You know, the military, the what? Only that this time they are surrounding him to protect him. I'm like, what is? you know. Anyway, Francis, welcome. I don't know if you were taking a sleep or a nap there, or your phone was frozen.
I'm here. I'm here.
Yeah.
I'm up and about.
Yeah, welcome. Let's see our friend in South Africa, if he can come in. Hello, Justice.
Hi, Roger, Kimi.
We can hear you, although we can't see you.
Okay, let me just get some more light on the subject.
All right.
I'm just
okay.
Like the side. I hope that's any better.
Not really.
Okay. Let me just see. Again.
If you take off your video. Take off your video, and usually to allow you to.
Okay, let me try that. Testing.
Okay, so that is not working. So what you can do, call me via my WhatsApp, and then call me via WhatsApp.
Thank you.
Yeah, call me via WhatsApp, and then we can. Francis, yeah. Perfect, right there. This is why we need, Africa needs a broadband. Each time we have to connect with the continent, we have issues. You see, Francis, are you able to leave your phone alone?
It's okay. My phone is okay. I think it's the system. I think it's the system over there.
Okay, hold on. Let's see if you'll be able to hear us. Hello, Justice. Hello, Justice. Hold on. That's my fault. I should have added on.
Okay.
Hello, Justice.
Yes, Roger, I can hear you.
Oh, wonderful. Can you guys hear Justice?
Yes.
Loud and clear. Okay. So Justice is a farmer in South Africa, and he's also a good friend of mine. Right, Justice?
Well, you're right about the.
Although we have never met.
Friend of yours, but,
although we have never met.
Thousands of farmers in South Africa, Roger. You're quite correct in that I'm involved in agriculture, and I'm a plant breeder and an animal breeder, and I work a lot in the livestock industry and the horticultural industry in South Africa. Yes, so it's all agricultural related. So you're quite right.
Yeah. You looked at a bit of the speech which I sent it to you. We are asking a question today: what it will take for you've been to Zambia. Where do you rate Justice Zambia as far as agriculture is concerned?
Roger, my honest opinion as somebody that's been involved with Zambia since the early 90s is that I think it's the country in Southern Africa that's not only got the most water, but it's got the highest potentially for agricultural development. And not only because you've got so much available land, but because there's a few very unique advantages that Zambia possess. And although it's underexploited at the moment, I think you're entering a golden age, so to speak. And I'd like to give you a few reasons for my statement. The first is I think we're moving to a reality where global warming is becoming much more pronounced.
Yes.
And Zambia's got something like 70 to 80% of all the fresh water in Southern Africa. South Africa is a very dry and a marginal country, and basically we're running out of water. We don't have enough water for the level of agricultural development we currently have. And as South Africa's population expands and increases, we don't have water to keep up with population growth. And for the past 350 years, South Africa has been a net food exporter.
Exporter,
we
yes.
more food. Yeah, so for 350 years, because of ample water reserves, South Africa could export food. And now that trend is starting to reverse. We don't have enough water. South Africa is becoming drier. Many regions in the country that used to sustain commercial farming is no longer able to sustain commercial farming, specifically in livestock, and also to do with tree crops. And the risks are becoming much bigger. In Zambia, 20 years ago, you had 7 months rainy season, for instance, in Northwest Province, when you were growing up, Roger. And over the last 20, 25 years, that has declined by 1 month. Now there's a 6-month rainy season. However, in South Africa, what used to happen is places that had 300 millimeters of annual rainfall are now down to 50 millimeters of annual rainfall, which simply does not sustain sheep farming or any kind of marginal agricultural activity. So coming back to my statement that Zambia is at the start of a potential golden age, you've got the water, you've got the land for expansion. We're moving into an area where there's 1 billion people in sub-Saharan Africa as potential consumers. South Africa can't supply Southern Africa with food anymore for a variety of reasons. Some are political, some are to do with ecology, as we said. A lot is to do with a lack of security. I think if you compare the security situation of South Africa and Zambia, you can see that Zambia is much more peaceful. You're a united nation, so to speak, compared to South Africa. You don't have a public riots. I think that the level of, if you've got political stability and you enhance investor-friendly policies, you're the most conducive country for easy business in Southern Africa. Better than Zimbabwe. Botswana can't compete because they're semi-desert. Namibia can't compete because they're semi-desert. Mozambique can't compete because they're ex-communist and they're so corrupt, nobody trusts them. Malawi is full of Malawians. They haven't got the space, they haven't got the land to expand. Tanzania is in crisis after this last presence of theirs. And the only country able to set sail and, in a certain sense, catch the headwinds of increased population growth in the entire Southern Africa is Zambia. So I think Zambia, with the correct policies, can become a net food exporter. 20, 30 years ago, when you were a young man, Roger, Zambia was importing maize from Zimbabwe. Today, Zambia is exporting maize to Zimbabwe. Malawi only allows food production for domestic consumption, and therefore they don't have a commercial agricultural economy at all. It's all inward looking, a basket case, so to speak. And no commercial farmer wants to move to Malawi because you can't export your commercial crops, which causes a huge choke point in terms of, if you can't access international markets, there's no sense to go and do agriculture commercially. And coming back to my statement, why I think Zambia's got could potentially be at the start of a golden age. Land, water, peaceful people, quiet people. In 2012 and 13, I used to have about 65 South African people working directly and indirectly for me in the South African nursery industry. And overnight, at the time we were producing seedlings, about 10 million seedlings a year. And overnight, the South African government, for short-term political gain, increased the minimum wage, and they increased it by 100%. So it doubled overnight. And that increase cost me a year's worth of profit. It means that I worked for a year for free, in vain, because of a bureaucratic administrative cost that was pushed and forced down on me. And the way that I was forced to respond was to shut down my industry and say, but I'm never going to produce seedlings again. 65 people, or 63 people lost their jobs. Our entire industry was shuttered. I dropped out of economic activity, and I said, I'm going to go to Zambia, and I'm rather going to produce seed by hand and only do seed in future, no more seedlings. And the reason for that is I had people with a better work ethic, fellow Christians in Zambia, that were working on a principle principle of honest, it wasn't an entitlement mentality like you've got in South Africa. In South Africa, entitlement mentality is incubated from a young age. You're a victim of apartheid. You get a child grant. You get a social grant. The government will look after you as long as you vote for the government. And people don't want to work because they can live from social handouts from government. And that's why we've got in South Africa at the moment the highest unemployment or youth unemployment in the world. While in Zambia, it's exactly the flip side of a coin.
Yeah.
People do want to work. They just need help.
Sorry, Justice. Time is running. I need to put in a little bit more questions. What do you think Zambia needs to do, Justice, to be, where at least agriculture can support us economically? What do we need to do?
I think the first thing that you need to do, from the previous administration to this administration, is clamp down completely on corruption. Create an investor-friendly environment where if people such as myself or any other investor comes into the country, they're not only allowed to bring money into the country, but also to take money out of the country. There must not be exchange control. You must be able to have a dollar account. If you bring dollars into Zambia, you must be able to take dollars out of Zambia in dollars. I think it's very important that together as Zambians, everybody involved in that economy, focus on world markets with tree crops, tree produce, things like nuts, for instance, high quality hardwood, things that in a semi-woodland country like Mahombo in Zambia, where we've got a natural competitive edge. We've got natural pollinators. We've got the highest density of bees in the world. We're non-GMO. We're the only country in Southern Africa that's non-GMO, and we are a leading seed exporter. And I think there's a huge scope to expand various seed industries based on pollination, based on wood, based on tree crops, based on good labor, based on a free market economy in a democratic country. Zambia's got the human capital, it's got the social capital. If we just add the political capital in a non-corrupt manner where there's not elite capture, where the local chief don't skim off all opportunities, and where the political provincial administrators don't skim off all the local provincial opportunities, and the national elite doesn't follow suit. If business booms,
you and the other last question, you and the fellow farmers in South Africa, or South Africans in general, looking into Zambia now with our political environment, how favorable are we to South Africa?
Let me be honest with you. I'm going to give you both sides of a coin. I love the people. They're Christian, they're my people. They just happen to be black, but they've got the same spirit as I do. They speak the same language. They look at life with the same value system that I do. So the people draw me to Zambia. I think that's the biggest resource. The water draws me to Zambia, the empty land. The fact that it's possible to do business together in a positive way, the fact that you're welcome, it draws me to Zambia. What pushes me away is government corruption it's a corrupt regime that we have. National level corruption as a major disincentive. What also pushes me away is 12-hour load shedding a day. I don't want to go and live in the dark with my wife sitting next to a candle.
Solar system, Justice, solar system.
Yes?
Solar system.
Let me conclude with this.
Yes, conclude.
When I look at Zambia, I see the future of what South Africa could have been, what Zimbabwe could have been, what Botswana could have been had they had enough water, what Namibia could have been had they had enough water, what Angola should have been. Zambia has that unfulfilled potential. Never been in a war for 40 years. Always had democratic changeover of government since 91. And if I had to take $1 million and choose between putting $1 million in South Africa with 20 years of work and putting it in Zambia with 20 years of work, I would choose Zambia 10 times out of 10.
Oh, wow. That's huge. That's huge. My friend, we'll do this. Hopefully, with the Minister of Agriculture, we are planning to do a summit. So I will invite you where you can bring a lot of the South African farmers in different areas, and you come to Zambia. Thank you so much, Justice, for doing this as always.
Thank you, Roger. Many blessings. God bless. Chat soon. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you. That is my good friend, Justice, in South Africa. You heard that. Coming up next, Miss Leah from UK.
By Roger.
Go ahead.
I mean,
oh, let me mute that. I'll just take it out. Go ahead.
That was insightful. I would love to hear more of what he is saying, because I think one of the missing components for me in the speech when it came to agriculture was the positioning of Zambia to export to markets, not just in Southern Africa, but Europe as well. The president did mention that, unfortunately, with the European and American markets, what people now are looking for is organic product. And I think that Zambia is well positioned to be a net exporter of those kinds of products, because we already have this non-GMO stance that is misguided sometimes. But I think that for me, that was a missing component, because there was a lot of driving agriculture in terms of using chemicals, pesticides, etc. Those are the things that have destroyed other places in terms of food sustainability. We cannot go the way of South Africa with 100% mechanized farming. We have to talk about conservation farming as the way forward, because even the US is now doing it as a major driver in agriculture.
Okay, well said. Miss Leah, before you go into Miss Leah's time.
Hello, no. So excited to be here, as always.
Very quickly, let Francis throw in 1 cent. Francis, otherwise you are in Miss Leah's time. She's got on. Oh, Francis is gone. Yeah, Miss Leah, welcome.
Hello. Nice to see the mayor.
The mayor had problems, had issues with the phone, but we talked a little bit. He has a lot of sad information. Yeah, go ahead, Francis, very quickly.
It's very refreshing to hear from the speaker you had, the guy from South Africa. I think it's very encouraging. Now, to defend the administration a little bit, my other colleague had mentioned, I've forgotten the name. I'm sorry.
Cambo,
Mr. Cambo. Yeah, he expressed concern on the policy, the speech itself, not going into details. I agree with you, but I also hope and pray that what the president laid was just a foundation. Yeah. And I want to believe that the president
we are going to be unpacking here. We are going to make it big.
Correct. And I think there was no way he was going to explain everything and the details of the policy. So I think he's going to launch his minister and everybody who's in charge now to go out there and
as a matter of fact,
information, and in the end, I think they'll draft a detailed policy. And this is the reason why we're calling on the president to give speeches. In a few weeks, we expect him to give.
Now he needs to go. If he goes to a certain place, he just gives on agriculture. Don't touch anything else. Just agriculture. Okay, this is Miss Leah's time. Miss Leah, welcome. I apologize. These guys, they like to throw in their.
It's interesting.
I know.
Everything is useful.
Yeah.
Everything is useful.
What was your assessment, Miss Leah, of this is Mrs. Leah Chilengwa. Chilengwa or Chilengwe?
Chilengwe.
Yeah, she's the best in UK. Like I said on Justice Campbell, she's also my friend. I'm showing off today as it were. So, what was your general assessment of the speech?
Listen, let me tell you, I have been walking a little bit taller, a little bit straighter, trying to tap people, pointing at Zambia on the map. I am proud to be a Zambian at the moment. So for me, of course, there's some things I'm thinking, I want this, I'm not happy about this. I am not expecting miracles. I will be bold to say anything we get that we've had in the last 7 years is a downside.
That's how bad BF
That's
was.
how bad things were. And I'm just going to say it. And I think even the very fact that I can say it shows you that we've got the freedom to say it.
Yes.
So what did I take? I just loved it. And I think it's up being a coach and a mentor. I love the fact that he's becoming more personable to people. And he's really growing into his title called Bali. He's the father of the nation. Yeah. I think initially he was a little bit disconnected, Mr. Businessman. People were on the edge, but I loved it. And I love the fact that he talks about unity because that's my bag.
Yeah. In his speech today, we want to talk about some of the lines he talked about. The theme calls all of us to unite regardless of our political affiliation, ethnicity, religion, and gender. Without all those things, I ask you, how achievable are those goals, or what do we need to do to achieve those goals?
I think I was thinking about this. Speaking as a mentor and a coach myself, I think if we put the tag of unity on one man, we are going to fail miserably. We will. I think that what we have right now is the sound of a leader who's calling for unity at the top, which is much better than what we had in the Muppet Show, I'll say, in the last bit. I mean, some of the things that came out of those leaders' mouths, I think for me was so vile and so disgusting that even though we at the ground were speaking up and trying to bring unity, you can't do it if it's not flowing from the head down. You know, anointing flows from the head down. And now I think
I like that.
He's speaking it, but
like
there has to be a desire for me and for you to reach across the table and say, you know, I want to make this thing work. I think what's happened over the years is we've been screaming from opposite ends, and sometimes I still see the screaming is there. And I think if we desire unity, I think that we just need to have that desire to reach across the most undesirable and try and make things work. But if we think that the president on his own is going to do this, I think we're going to fail. I think it's still going to be much, much better than what we've had before, but it's achievable. I don't think he's speaking of things that he thinks he cannot be. This is a guy who was marginalized. And if he can speak up and say, on a personal note, this is how I want to go. Who am I? Who am I to hold on to? So I think long, short, and because I'm very excited, I think it's achievable.
Yeah. Francis.
I think the speech was...
I don't want you to comment. I want you to ask a question because I know you've got these sets of questions.
Oh, to ask a question. How confident...
She is our guest. So all of you, three of you, will be directing to her.
Oh, okay. The president...
I think he agrees with me. He thinks it's achievable.
I do.
Yeah.
I agree with you. The president highlighted the economic transformation and job creation to be, I think, his prime, his immediate thing. What policies, if you look at policies that can move or recover our economy right now, that is just in the doldrums, what deliberate policies do you think can be ushered in to?
If I'm really honest with you, I've got my own personal policies, but I'm not an expert in that. That's not, for me, it's not my bag, and I'm not an economist, I'm not a tech person. I just believe in the soul of the nation and the unity of the nation. I've got a view, but it's more a layman's kind of view, so I'd rather be hesitant.
And that's okay. I want to hear that. What do you think the president should do now?
What the president needs to do now is what he's doing correctly, which is having equity across the board for Zambians. Access to health, access to jobs, access. So even though the jobs are not there, he's building a foundation in what I can see as a layman that gives everybody that equitable access and boldness as a Zambian to approach and see what they can do or what they can get from the government. So I think the first thing, we've been such a fractured people that if we start running to trying to fix the economy, fix this, without trying to fix the systems, and the systems involve people who generally were corrupt, we might potentially fail. So I think he's got it right. So in terms of policies, for me, I think when he talks about zero tolerance to corruption. I think it's a headline, but I think he's talking more around systemic. And I think that's where he's going. He's got a massive job. He's got a massive job at hand. And all of us want different things. I want jobs for my kids. I want my kids to go back to Zambia and feel like they belong and be able to be accepted and have access and practice if they need to. The way it was going, they weren't even Zambian, if they dared to even speak up. I don't know if I'm answering your question from a mother's point of view or a Zambian's layman point of view, but I can't pinpoint what I think he could do deliberately now. But I think what he's doing for me, which is really exciting, is he's talking about unity as he's trying to build systemic systems underneath that help governance work.
And I should have put my my title there. That's what we are looking at. He says there is strength in unity. He says there is strength in unity. You find, Miss Leah, even for ourselves here in diaspora, this baby called unity is so hard to achieve. What is our president talking about? Here? Because this grenade or mountain can be very, very tough to deal with.
It can be tough to deal with, but I think
maybe let me rephrase. You know, people like Kamwiri. Kamwiri goes on the tyrant of tribalism. What should we do with people like that?
I tell you, I think we've had this conversation where I think that that it is my responsibility. It's my responsibility to be my brother's keeper. And I remember, I think 2 years ago, I stood up and I wrote a post and I said, I stand with the Tongas. Well, the vile inboxes I got.
Oh, wow.
Inbox was incredible, you see? So, and I think that maybe, and I'm not judging anybody who wasn't their brother's keeper, but sometimes when such a thing, a force comes against you, it's easy for you to shut down and not speak up.
Yes.
I think what made us rot, I think for me, is that when Kambwili began to speak, actually, no, I won't say that because it's quite contentious, but when Kambwili began to speak, nobody was speaking up violently. Our brothers were saying they were hurting. And so it became the norm. So now when we built this elephant, we're trying to pull it down. It had become so powerful, so ingrained. We don't even know how far it's going to affect the children. Some generations have grown up 10 years old. That's all they hear, being marginalized and sidelined in their hometown. So I think, what should we do? We should all take up arms and say, never again.
Never again.
Never again do we see a brother in pain and be silent. Never again. And it is our responsibility, all of us.
I like that.
What role do you think education is going to play in unity?
Massively. And I think, I equate it to the sound I make here around Black Lives Matter. It's massive when the children begin to see a sound that they hear in their homes, in their educational system, when their children are taught about all of us being united, one Zambia, one nation, to coin that phrase, that will help. But education in the home, it starts in the home. It's what that child hears me say about a fellow Zambian in the home that we begin to challenge. So that massive education in the system, I think, is important. The visual, the sound, and what we are teaching our children, we need to be deliberate, I think. We need to be deliberate to start breaking down the stereotype and start speaking about positivity in the school. I know children as young as 7 who've been bullied for being Tonga. Bullied. What does that do to the soul of that child? So we are deliberate in the schools, but we have to challenge in the home. We absolutely have to challenge in the home. And it's not just the president's job for me. It is actually each and every one of us responsibility to stand up and say, no, this is not okay.
Wow, that's cool. Thank you.
I agree, and I agree. I think the silence, especially from the ruling party, the opposition now, really get the way he was left alone on the stage created this. There was no backlash from the ruling party, and the lower people could not comment because the president was silent. So it meant that the president had approved. So that created that. I think next time around, if such a person emerges, everybody should just stand up and say no. We should call them out immediately.
Immediately. But you know what happens though? And I think we who fought for this have to guard that when we hear something that's contrary to what we believe, we don't begin to shut that down, because that's the trend that got us here. I see things that they're calling checks and balances now, which actually means something like vote wisely, which is what I used to use before. And if I don't like it, I just keep it scrolling, because how long are you going to say those things for the next 5 years? And I just trust the president to meet his objectives. So give the guy time, but rather than fight with these numpties, keep it scrolling. But challenge where it's important. And for me, I will not let anybody put a Zambian child down while I can hear it.
Do you think
Coach Leah, unfortunately, they ate into your time. I apologize. Please make this your home. This is my 15 minutes. They are very productive.
I know.
Yeah. Thank you so much for joining us.
Meeting you.
Yes, lovely to see you all, guys.
Yeah.
Coming up. But Roger, do you think patriotism should be put in our syllabus so that our kids start learning patriotism? I think it begins from there.
Yes,
you know, we are so much used to divisive politics, where we think in politics we just have to argue. It's not about arguing. You can present your ideas and agree to disagree. Exactly. If you reach a stage of arguing, that's where now hate speech comes in and all those things fall in.
Okay. Thank you, my friend. We'll be in touch. Thank you for doing this.
Hello, good afternoon.
Coming up next, we are going to look at the mining sector with Victor, our own son, who is a miner here. Thank you, Ms. Leah. Why don't we take a short break? When we come back, Victor will be joining us. Okay, this is Zambia Block Talk Radio. My name is Roger here in the prairies. We are having some nice time with people all over the world who are calling in. And some of them, Mr. Mani Chipungu. Well, welcome. For joining the... Yeah. So just join in. When you have a moment to comment, we'll let you know. Bamwaba, where are you, Bamwaba?
Good morning, Roger. Good morning, listeners and viewers. Right now, unfortunately, I'm just on my way from work, so I don't have the video aspect. I don't know if you can see me or not.
That is good enough. We can hear your voice. At least we can hear your voice. Our discussion today, I think you saw the paper. What was your highlight of the speech in your friend Bali's speech yesterday?
My highlight is just the way inclusive Bali is so far. The appointment of the cabinet is very inclusive. He's looking at a very progressive Zambia, a very robust economic recovery. I think before I go into details, for those who don't know me, my name is Victor Kundamwava. Currently, I'm in Illinois. I work for a giant e-commerce company. I'm not going to mention the name, but prior to joining the big company, I spent some 15 years in mining. I started out as a mining engineer, worked my way up into management. I started mining in South Dakota. I was sponsored by the mine, so I was part and parcel of Kaunda's very forward-looking, manpower development, but obviously we know how that went during the privatization. So I'm very excited, like every Zambian is, about the upcoming of Bali and his leadership style and what he has in store for Zambia. He's very inclusive, very open-minded. I'm excited.
Okay, that is good. here we pose the question: what is your take on the local participation? Bali talks about he wants locals to participate, but we always cry, "Oh, we don't have capital." What is your take, Bamwaba, on the locals to participate in the mining?
Local participation is very dismal currently, unfortunately. The Zambian mining sector is a multi-billion-dollar sector. It could be anywhere north of 10 billion, maybe up to 20 or 30 billion.
Oh, wow.
But when you look at the equities that CCM has, prior to them taking over Mopani and KCM, they were in the range of 400 to 500 million dollars. So a multi-billion-dollar enterprise, you only own not even $500 million. So that's very, very dismal. So I think the capital that we have as a country primarily lies into ZCCM. ZCCM Investment Holdings needs to change their strategy. Instead of being minority shareholders, they need to be majority shareholders. However, they got to go about it the right way, not you just wake up today and say, hey, we're going to take this mine over.
Yeah.
Chipante leadership is behind us. I'm very excited to hear that. One of the aspects of mining that the Zambian economy needs to leverage is the ESG sector, the environmental, safety, and governance. Obviously, a lot of mines, care about the environment, they care about the safety, but the governance aspect is really lacking. That's where the transparency comes in. There's no transparency in how much money is being made, how big the industry is. So I do believe Bali does bring that governance aspect, the credibility aspect. As you can see, even the markets have responded very positively to the outcome of our election. So Bali kutika.
Yeah.
So when it comes to local content requirement, I think the ownership needs to have a very big percentage of Zambians. We need to require that Zambians own a big percentage of the mines. I know a lot of investors, when they come into the country, they say, hey, we bring the capital, therefore we own the whole thing. But when you look at capital structure, there's financial capital equity that you bring in, but there's also sweat equity and or also owning the land. That should count for something. When I was running some mines in West Texas, most of the ranchers, they got invaded by a lot of frac sand miners. What they did, they were very smart. They did not sell the land. They were leasing the land. So when you are leasing the land, you become part and parcel of that ownership structure for that mine.
Oh, wow.
In some situations, some of the landowners were actually owning about 25% of the revenues that are made. 25% are paid to the landowners. So can you imagine if somebody's selling $1 billion worth of mining products, 250 million goes to an individual who owns the land. So we are talking about 25% of revenue. We are not talking about the peanuts that we usually get in terms of royalties, 0.5%, 0.6%. No, you are taking the chunk of the revenue that's coming in. So we need legislation that really empowers the Zambian people to say, this is my land, whatever you sell, give me 25%.
So what makes us to have weak systems like that? Is it the land issues, the land titles? We don't have ownership to this land. What makes us to be so weak? Anyway, guys, I will allow you to come in, not to comment. Our guest is Mr. Mwaba, but to ask him a question. Why don't I start with Kambo, go ahead.
No, I think let him answer that question, because I think that question is important. I'll cede my time to him answering that question.
Roger, what was the question? Can you repeat?
The question is, what makes, you talked about the people in Texas, and here people and property, they are like this. If you can see how I've done my fingers, people and property, they are together. What makes it so hard for our people back home not to claim the same rights, the same money on the land which they are pushed from?
I think in the Zambian space, the most important resource that we underutilize is knowledge. I think you can have a resource, mining resource, natural resource, but if you don't have the knowledge, I think they'll be taking advantage of you left, right, and center. When you look at the Kaunda administration, they had the knowledge, they had the foresight, they were very, very strategic in their thinking. Right now, I don't think we have enough knowledge in the mining space. We've let the Jerabos become mine owners. We've let the Jerabos, they get excited with 0.1% of the real value they can get. I think once we leverage maybe the University of Zambia, CBU, we have people who are actually learned. They know the value chain of mining. Somebody who's not going to get excited by buying a vehicle. I think once we know the value of our assets, whether it's land or mineral rights, I think we'll be able to negotiate for our fair share of the revenue. You know, it's not about a few dollars here and there, $14,000. I see we used to see a lot of videos from the PF government where, you know, somebody gets $14,000, they make a YouTube video about that. It needs to be more than that. As a country, we can do more than that. Kaunda had a very, very forward-looking strategy. He had a manpower development strategy. He sent hundreds of people to study mining abroad, medicine, you name it. I'm a proud product of the Kaunda thinking, but that knowledge, that know-how, that's what's really, really lacking in Zambia right now. We get excited by $1,000. We need to stop that.
Can you imagine? So it's so painful. It's so painful. Go ahead. I've forgotten your name. Ramani, go ahead.
Yes, thank you very much for letting me be part of the panel to discuss the beauty and the aspiration for which Zambia, you know, has. You see,
your question. It's a question to Mr. who is our guest today, Mr. Victor. Yeah,
Mr. Victor. I think, you know, we do not educate the people enough. As a result, we have abundance of land, but the system in place, as you've mentioned, from the Kaunda era, there was that, you know, patriotism and knowing, you know, the value of the land. But I don't think in today's culture with the previous administrations, not just administrations, people have not been made to realize what value land is, what natural resources the value is. They've been sidelined in major decision making. As a result, we allow foreigners to just come in and dictate what directions, you know, they will take. So I think by initiating, you know, this small and medium ministry, it's going to be one of those foundations whereby people now are going to be taught and to be empowered to know that, you know, this land is not only for me, it's for generations to come. And I don't think we do have that connection in Zambia. We are living for the moment. We don't look at, okay, this land which I have, it must transform the generations which are coming, like the example you gave in Texas. Once our people realize that, you know, your patriotism, your land is your birthright and you need to safeguard it. I think when people have got that chain of thinking, it's going to be able to raise questions and to able to make Zambians realize what value they have in their land.
I actually agree with you, Ramani. I think I met you in Atlanta at the kitchen party, if you remember, but we can connect after the call.
Kitchen party?
No. Both him and I were attending a kitchen party. He was with his wife, I was with my wife. He wasn't having a secret kitchen party. Anyway, I think I like the point he made about living for the moment. I think we really need to focus on the legacy and say, hey, you know what? The future generation, how's this industry going to look like? Because we want our kids to be in a better situation than we are. So the people have been sidelined in decision making. I agree with that. I don't think people know how powerful they are, but actually they actually flexed their muscles on August 12th. That's how powerful they are. I had the privilege of working to one boss when I just joined the mining industry. He said, you know what, mining is a privilege. It's not a right. And so once the community realizes that if they can band together, they can shut down any mine, even in the United States. So it's a privilege that we enjoy as miners. We really need to earn the trust. We need to earn that license to mine in somebody else's backyard. You know, and by earning that license, we're not talking about, you know, a mosquito net here and there, a borehole here and there. We need real job creation. You know, they need to have pensionable jobs, not these jobs where I'm a casual worker. We don't want that. We need jobs where our parents used to retire. They would buy a piece of land and stuff like that. Not just you get fired and you have no recourse. So we need real job creation. Bali needs to make mining, front and center, because it's a strategic industry in Zambia. But Roger Kukana Doko, you have what they call the potash industry. The potash industry is a strategic industry in Canada.
Yeah.
Nobody from China is just going to wake up and say, I'm going to buy Canadian potash industry. The Canadian mining country is going to say, no, we can't let you do that, because that ties into the food supply chain. So Zambia needs to declare mining as a strategic asset, and we need to play a much bigger role than, $500 million that ZCCM used to play up until recently.
Wonderful. Well done, Baba. Well done. Yeah, please, let's continue doing this, especially the mining. I think Turaisha Sana Kumbadi, Ididi Ashiri, we need to just be having a segment like every Saturday until something happens. Yeah,
absolutely. I'd be glad to be part of the discussion.
Thank you so much, Rabo. Have a good day.
Thank you, fellow countrymen. My money will connect on the side.
No problem. Thank you, my brother. Drive safe. Thank you.
Kitchen party. Kitchen party. All right, coming up next, we are back in the UK, Kambo. This time we are talking to our brother Nason Vimbe. Our president talked about the digital. Title digital. I don't know if I wrote all the titles. E-government, yes, it's here. E-government. So, Wabimbe, sorry, but you called in late, early, so which was good. Our good friend Wamsokotwane, welcome. Me thinking you are even in Zambia now eating some real food. So I don't know.
Tomorrow.
Oh, tomorrow. Yes. Yeah. You know, it's so funny how here, your last day, you are going to Zambia tomorrow, you still have to work on that. That's how tight our days are. They're tight. But welcome.
Thank you, Roger.
Your general feeling of the speech.
The general feeling of the speech, excited. I feel the country is on reset.
Okay, I like
moving in the right direction.
Yeah.
As the previous speakers have said, when you have a leader that has got a vision that gives you, this is how we want to move. The troop soldiers, the ones on the ground, they know what to do. I've seen criticisms of, the speech is just, fairy tale, whatever. But for a lot of people that have done management, that's where it starts from. It starts from the vision, from the mission. And then at the bottom, then you create the actionable stuff that you need in order to achieve that vision. So to me, this is what we will be lacking, and I'm happy that we've got this kind of thing moving. I'm excited, and just to highlight, he spoke about some of this stuff will be much clearer because there will be an input to the 8th National Development Plans. I don't know whether people didn't see that or whatever they're arguing. The other thing is, I think we've been used to chipante where there's been no plan, and it became normal, where one wakes up and creates policy, and then we move on, and then it doesn't work. So that to me is a breath of fresh air.
Yeah,
that's all I can say on that one.
Our guest is Gerson Vimbe from the United Kingdom. So as we are discussing, gentlemen, you are not going to comment, but you are going to ask Vimbe some question as we go. The president says government recognizes the critical role that the digital and knowledge economy plays, enhancing productivity across all sectors of the economy. Number one question, Vimbe, I support you, PND. Some of the statements, when you see them, you're like, do they really mean this?
Yeah, the thing is with some of these things, I can give you one statement, for example, where he says, we will also devote our efforts in providing skills training for self-employment, as well as increasing access to credit coupled with financial literacy. From that statement, as a person who worked in IT, already I can see projects there, all right? For example, I can see e-learning as one of them, accreditation courses.
Oh, wow.
If you look at the US or even the UK, you cannot just get a plumber who hasn't got any certificate or accreditation or, this kind of Amazon reviews. Those are platforms that can be created just from that statement. So that's why sometimes when I see on the internet people complaining there's no details.
You're like, I'm looking at the good mind. Yeah.
It's just how we harness that. Now, if I've read the speech throughout, and most of the threads that are coming in actually technology, and I'm happy that technology and science is now cross-cutting, which he has mentioned in the speech as well. We need that. I've heard people talk about technology, they always think it's ICT. I think we need to move away from that as well, of that kind of thinking. Technology is anything that makes life easy for people or cuts costs and improves efficiency. That's what it is. So when we come to e-government, that's an aspect, but I would like to look at it from a digital transformation, a complete transformation across the board. Well, e-commerce provides, e-government provides you with an ability for citizens to interact with the government in a more better way. If I look at most government websites, I only see mugshots of people. They are not transactional. You don't make life easy for anybody by just having
putting a static website together.
One wants an application form. They've got to go and buy an application form in the digital world when you can just fill it online. Or better still, government printers, prints all these things. It's an inefficient thing. There are a lot of nice printers that are in them. You can create on-demand printing. Somebody wants a phone, you can pass that to an on-demand printer and go and pick it up. So there are all sorts of things. Now, coming to the actual e-government part of it, I feel one of the fundamentals that I see is creating the backbone. Government has to do that. He's mentioned about, the infrastructure part on broadband. I know you mentioned broadband. They are going to put fiber optics. That, I think, should be created via a PPA kind of arrangement. I know it's expensive to run fiber or whatever, digging holes, but I know in Zambia, Zespa's tried to run fiber on the wires, on electric wires. That's another way. There's another technique that they are piloting in the UK, where you pass the wires through the water systems. So again, that helps you accelerate the deployment of that. Now that's on the hardware. I like to think we need is the software part. the thinking of that. What has been happening in Zambia, mostly African concern, we tend to rush to procurement, buy the hardware, and figure out what we need to use the hardware for. That shouldn't be the case. We need to be able to think, what problem are we trying to solve? And then we'll get the necessary pieces that we need. Okay. I think that has to happen.
Yeah.
Of course, it requires the right kind of thinking, the right procurement processes, and just standards. It might be tweaking of legislation or adding regulation. I don't know. That's another thing. Now, when it comes, my passionate for me is about, we want to accelerate the use of our young people to create services, to create meaningful applications. And I feel the government sits on a gold. What I mean gold is data. They sit on data. They know a lot about what data they use to transact: land data, burial data, birth data, registration data.
Yeah.
That data, that's has got data. Targets have got data.
Voters
Yeah.
registration.
So what I kind of think of, if the government really was to think, and this is what I've been proposing a lot, and in most governments, in Europe, whatever, they do that. Open up that data. But you open up that data in a better way. You don't sell the data as a spreadsheet or whatever. No. You create meaningful application programming interfaces. These are interfaces. And you charge per access. Okay, I'll give you a scenario. Yeah, I'm HR. I want to interview people. I need to know their qualifications. I need to know their experiences. I need to know their identity. All that data is there, right? A young person can create an application with a module that can query those data sources.
Yes,
so that,
yes.
You don't need people carrying brown envelopes.
Yeah, my spreadsheet. Yeah.
So to me, that would be one of the quick wins if we were to do that. Of course, opening up data requires a lot of thinking. There are, issues with security, with privacy. So again, that can be built into all that
system. Yeah.
So we need to create those transactional systems. But releasing that data will help our young people to create services or applications that can use that data, but on top of that, they can enrich the experience. Governments are not good all over the world. They are not good at creating those experiences. That's what we've learned even in the UK. I'll give you an example in the UK where the Transport for London released the data set of where each bus is, which train, where each train is. Somebody came up with an idea and used that data together with Google Maps to create, a system that anyone could just sit and say, oh, when is my next bus coming? Okay, so it's because they released the data, somebody did that. But Transport for London gets money because one that accesses that data.
Right.
That's the way.
Let me allow your time. You've taken up all your time answering. It's wonderful. It's wonderful, and this is why I told you, Babimbe, we are going to do a lot of these things. We are going to go into summits, and that way, if it's a 2-hour discussion, we break it down, but it is all talking about one subject. I don't want you to sleep.
I'm not. No,
were you listening? Yeah.
Like I say, my mind might be here, but my body is already in Zambia. You know what I'm saying? So
that is a problem.
I'm in a transition.
That is a problem right there.
because tomorrow we have evidence. So my body is already there, but my mind is trying to stay back.
That is so funny.
Roger, let me come in.
And then Makambo. Makambo first, then
Oh, okay. Yeah. Oh, thank you so much. Babimbe, I like your analysis. Very, it's very informing, and I was very comfortable with it. I love it. I agree with you. I think the first, I'm going to ask two questions, but I want to agree with you on, I think the largest part of this e-government thing, if they're going to launch this, will be internet. Broadband will be a must. If Zambia is going to go to the direction where the president is seeing it, I think internet will be number one for easy communication. Now, when you look at policies, the way they formulate them, they're in threefold. First of all, it's the pronouncement, like the president did in Parliament. Then there's the launching, and then the last part, the managing of the policy itself. Now, when you look at these three, Zambia being young, and we're young as in we've never been there before, for I don't know for what reasons, the last administrations never took us there. Bali is seeing this. Which stage, the pronouncement, launching, or management, do you think we're going to need more work? And should the government engage contractors, contract other people to run certain things and maybe just manage? What do you think? What's your take on that?
Yeah, that's
it's loaded, but
yeah, that's a good question.
Simplify it. We'll come back to that question. Yeah,
I'll say this. When I look at this, it's just a policy direction. It doesn't mean it's really a policy. We need more detail on that, which means we need to look at, how is this policy going to affect the people? Once we start creating that policy, also it has to be user-centered. We need to involve the stakeholders that are going to be affected, winners and losers, to be part of that policy formulation. Once we've done that, then of course there ought to be the implementation part. I kind of like, a lot of people say KPIs. I like the OKRs. That's objective, key results, and initiative, because those you can derive the actionable stuff that you need to produce in order to meet that policy. So that's the other thing. So that at that point, of course, the ministries in charge will have to define that, and then they need to bring in experts to try and see how they can create the actual contractual document, the tendering and whatever.
But do you think the government...
Okay, hold on, guys.
I have a follow-up question. He hasn't answered the question.
Babimbe,
he hasn't answered the question.
We'll stay here.
Okay, so that's what I want. Now, everyone has to be a stakeholder. The government, the people they bring in, and the users of the systems.
Do you think the government should solely run this program
before Babimbe goes to the next question? That's hold on.
Not necessarily.
Babimbe will stay here. We'll stay here just a little bit. Our friend Robert is here and is going to go. I know it's going to make us get confused, but we are strong men. 5 minutes or so. Brother Robert, how are you?
How are you? Can you hear me?
Good. How's Florida? Yeah, Florida. You are in Florida where this man is.
Yes, Florida.
Yeah, we are talking digital here with Brother Bimbe from the UK. We are going to. We just got breaking news actually that our president has been invited to the White House. How big a deal is that? You are very close to the democratic politics in the United States. How big a deal is this?
I think it's a huge deal to be invited to the White House so quickly after winning an election.
I know.
It's absolutely a big deal.
Yeah, yeah, and help us understand. I don't know. Should I say the benefits of an invitation like this in government and those looking outside government? How big? Yeah.
Well, I think first and foremost, well, again, Roger, thank you so much for having me on the show. I appreciate the invitation. First and foremost, the invitation, obviously, as we all know, an invitation to come to the White House is huge in and of itself, and so much behind the scenes discussions and pros and cons and this and that policy issues are all debated. But the fact that President Hichilema has been invited so quickly to Washington, I think on several fronts. Number one is meant to send a loud message, at least that Washington endorses his election. It's a very loud message, and Washington is clearly saying to the world, not just to Zambia, but to the world, that we are supportive of this president and of his administration. So that's just on the surface, right off the bat. But I think the other thing also is President Hichilema's credentials is being recognized, especially in terms of his fiscal experience and management background. Because clearly the nation is facing serious problems, right? We're all aware of that in terms of pulling the economy back into shape, the debt, overburdening, suffocating debt, corruption, and issues like that. I saw on his agenda for his visit to Washington that is clearly meeting with all the key players, agencies, and of course with the Zambian diaspora as well while he's here. But the agencies that he's meeting with clearly indicate that the president is here with a very clear agenda to connect with, pull on his associations from the past for the benefit of the country. And that's that many times in leadership, that's what it boils down to.
Yeah.
Able to convince, persuade, and increase the confidence at the end of the day, that people are willing to believe in you and invest in you. I mean, in order for investors to come to Zambia now, there has to be a total, a faith has to be rebuilt, the trust, that Zambia can deliver. And this is a new dawn in Zambia. And so this is a good start.
Yeah, last time he came, he said he had, should we call them Francis promises of about 25 billion in investments. Do you think he has come to collect that? Brother Robert?
Oh, you want me to respond? Okay, now maybe I can laugh a little bit.
Yeah.
Well, let me put it this way. I think that is, I'm sure, is on the agenda.
Yeah.
Now, whether he has to go back and show that this trip was not just a trip, right? Yeah. He has to,
because those were pledges then. They pledged him, if you are in power. He told us. I don't know, Francis, you were in that Zoom meeting. He said, I've got pledges 25 billion. Now the man has come back and say, guys, I don't play. You got, yes, my money.
It's very much for par. I mean, certainly he would be here to collect on that. And he has to go back and show, I've come back with so much, and so many pledges. But my only concern, and this, I think everyone kind of has this at the back of their mind, is, the president obviously during the campaign made a lot of campaign promises.
Yes.
And I guess for voters, one tends. There's no time for patience. It's like, okay, it's time to deliver. Now start delivering on the promises.
It's social media world. It's social media world.
Social media world.
Yeah.
Can get to it. And I'm with him on. I mean, I want to give him space. I want to give him time to deliver on the promises. And right now, it's just a new beginning in Zambia.
Yeah.
I just feel like it's a new beginning. Let's give the man a chance, and let's see what Zambia has in store.
Yeah, yeah. But Mani, quick comments, then we go back to Babimbe.
Yes,
to
and then,
our discussion.
And then, geopolitically, Zambia is very, very important to the United States. And HH is realizing that, well, Zambia is this important to the United States, but what can we get in return? Because before, what used to happen, with the previous administrations, we didn't know our value. The United States is mining in Zambia. The United States has got the biggest embassy, in the region.
Yeah.
That does not come just because they love Zambia. There's something critical which the United States values Zambia for. But if we don't realize ourselves, our worth, nobody else will. So this time, HH knows the value of Zambia, knows the American, conglomerates, which are doing mining there quietly. He wants now to capitalize on that to say, hey, you've been in our backyard. What else can we get, from the corporate? Governance now have opened the doors, for business. Now he is coming, on with the business agenda to a capitalist country, which I think is going to be a win-win for Zambia if he puts his ducks in a row.
Oh, I like
just to follow up on that, Roger. I agree with what Manny has said. And if you look, even in the past, even at the time when Kaunda was screaming, China and Russia, the US, they're the CIA station that the biggest in the region was in Zambia. We didn't know that until when a book was written about CIA declassifying some of the information. So Zambia is very strategic. One, we are very peaceful, not just in our politics as we showed, but we're also peaceful people. We've never had a war and no civil war. So we're very peaceful. And in that region, if you look at the US politics, the US started losing Africa at the time of Obama. They were not investing in Africa. The Chinese and the Indians came in, they started investing. This time around, if you look at the southern region of Africa, where do you think the US is situated the most?
Good point.
You can't nation a country.
Zambia.
So Zambia is the country. So that's the reason Zambia was identified. So the second part is, I think HH is coming here. They'll ask him which direction he's taking. He's going to present what he wants to do for the country. And then I think they will agree on how they can help and how they can invest. Of course, they'll sell him why he needs America more than the Chinese, for instance. And I know the Chinese Beijing is not sleeping right now. They've invested heavily.
Yeah, they've invested heavily.
And to me, this shows me the first country that it picks to go to right after election is the US. So that speaks volume. I think our foreign policy will shift. I think our over-dependence on China, I think will remain with President President Lungu. So I think we're in a better place. I'm excited.
I mean, it's like the American presidents, when a new American president, the first country usually is either Canada or Mexico. They are because those are critical to trade. Okay.
Or Israel if it's the Republican.
Final word, brother William. Then we go back to
Thank you very much.
Our discussion. I hope we are not confused. We are not confused. Yeah. Go ahead.
No, well, I want to encourage the Zambian diaspora here in the United States when he's here. We need to really, when the group meets with him, have to show him, that we're also serious about investing in Zambia, because I would urge a trade mission be organized from here to Zambia at the earliest possible opportunity.
I like that.
So we need to start working on organizing that trade mission and taking that forward, because talk is cheap and PR photo ops are good, but at the end of the day, we need to
deliver.
We need to deliver. And so that's something we can do from here in the United States. So Roger, I mean, between you and Nathan and other business leaders, we need to start talking about that.
Oh, I like that. Okay. That was breaking. That was a breaking news which interrupted our discussion. Breaking news: our president is coming, and a lot of things you guys have unpacked. What we need to follow up. Thank you. Have a good day, my friend.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay. Thank you so much. But Bavimbe,
okay, I was trying to respond to the question. Is that where we left off, or you wanted to say another thing?
Oh no, go ahead. What do you want to say?
So it was asking about policy where it failed. One thing I've learned.
Okay, what was the question? Because we got confused because we got interrupted.
About is that policy which parts of that policy?
And should government micromanage? Should government micromanage these programs, or they should sell it to? They should contract other companies also to help them. What's your take on that?
So I'll tell you one thing. One thing I've learned. Okay, I've worked. I was working at Institute of Development Studies in the UK. Okay, I'm freelance now, and a lot of our work were in developing countries, where we kind of help them to realize their development goals, so to speak. So one thing I realized is if you look across Africa, most African countries don't know how to define the problem. Okay, they don't know how to define their own problem. As a result, they don't know how to solve it. If it's trying to be solved the problem, it actually doesn't get solved properly, or it's expensive, or it fails. Now, what I mean with that is, if you look around, a lot of key investment or development that happens, which affects the people. If you go to Lusaka today, you'll see posters of Millennium Challenge Fund, USAID doing that. It's because these guys have come to define the problem for us. Okay? To say, oh, you need the water there. Oh, you need your children to. If you look at Rwanda, where I've also worked, Rwanda is different. Rwanda defines their own problem. They'll say, this is what we need. We've got this money. Then the donor community to say, oh, yeah, you've got that. They don't even ask a lot of questions. They'll give you them the money. With that, because they've defined that problem themselves, they can manage the contracts properly. Okay? I think that's one thing. And looking at this speech from HH, it gives me hope that we understand our problems. And as we are going to create things, contracts that really matter, and we know how to supervise those contracts. That's my hope.
Wow. Well defined. Brother Mani.
Yes, you see, culturally, my brother, you've just put it, you just hit, the nail on the head. Culturally, we've got, Ichim foreigner syndrome. We in Zambia always think that, the point you just made, that if something is done by a foreigner, it would be much better done, if Zambians were to take, hold of that. So I think over time, that perception has to change in the people, in letting them know that, listen, this is your problem in the backyard. You come up, with a solution. But people have been living, that laissez-faire attitude, whereby they wait, as you have mentioned, Millennium Goals, this and that. When aid comes to Africa, it is because somebody wants to have a tax write-off or what. It's not necessarily for them, to solve our problems. We sometimes have got better solutions and cheaper solutions. However, this I don't know whether it's a colonial mentality or it's a foreigner syndrome. We wait, for somebody to come up to tell us how to rearrange our house. No, that sofa needs to be there. No, that chair needs to be there. But then we complain when the TV is in the kitchen and the living room sofa, on the veranda. You know what I'm saying? So I think this can start from patriotism. When we love our country so much, Mr. Francis had alluded to that. We need to love our country. no matter what it is, and we need to love ourselves as Zambians, wherever we are, I mean, on the globe. You know, that is going to foster that innate appreciation of who we are as a people. And once we do that, I can tell you, we don't have a foundation yet, but the plan looks good. And HH has given us, you know, the blueprint. You find that a lot of solutions, we also have got, you know, a part, you know, to play. Thank you.
Yeah, HH was asked a question one time, what the debt levels for the Chinese is. He said, don't worry about the Chinese. What about ourselves?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Wakam.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask Babimbe, like, if you were to be brought into a position where you were given an opportunity to drive this policy, where would you go? What would you do first thing?
Yeah, in terms of the ICT part or the digital part, I think the first thing I would want to look at is what is it that we need. We might know what we need, but then to understand it further, then we're gonna look at what is it that we have, how have we done it. The way I want to look at it is then come up with something that looks like, you know, we don't need procurement of ICT willy-nilly. Yes, departments can procure that, but they need to subscribe to certain things. Today's ICT is interconnected. You cannot have, for example, in the UK, we don't have websites for each ministry right now because these ministries are fluid. What we look at is the functional area because those can be moved wherever is necessary. So we need to move away from that silo mentality and understand that, you know, when citizens interact with the government, some of the answers they want or some of the things that they want to consume are run across ministries. Okay, if you want to build a house today, you will be dealing with how many entities in Zambia? You'll be dealing with Ministry of Lands. You'll be dealing with the Environmental Council. You'll be dealing with ZRA. You might need even deal with ACRA. Then there are the banks, the private sector for your mortgage and stuff like that. Then there's the labor side. All these things you need to think, how then do we create these systems? They can live on their own, but they need to kind of
somehow somewhere.
You might have probably some entity somewhere which could create some sort of a government database. So every system feeds into that. They just define the protocols that they need. And then you can allow the app developers to target that database for their own applications.
I like that.
So there is a lot of things. Then as you create system based on functional areas rather than ministerial arrangements, then you stand a chance of sustainability for those systems. And you can tweak them around. So I would kind of look at it that way. And like the way currently it is done, it's just really pathetic in a way. It's not at all sustainable.
What is the starting point, Ravimbe, for Zambia? Very, very briefly, our time is gone. So what will be the starting point? You talked digital and knowledge, and this was huge. But you know, you talked about a lot of big things. All these things can't happen at the same time.
So now, I mean, we've got the guidelines, we've got the direction. I think we need to start to do an inventory of what we have.
Okay, that's a starting point.
Rationale of creating those things that we have. Now, for example, I hear they built a data center. Do you know how much it costs to run a data center? It's pretty expensive.
Yeah.
Computer servers, they've got a lifespan of how many? 3 years? Then you've got to work in electricity, bandwidth, calling. Why doesn't the US government run their own data center? They go and negotiate with Microsoft or Google to run their own data center because they can take care of that. You take care of the problem that you want to solve. But what I've seen mostly is we run to the hardware rather than the stuff that makes life easy for people. So those are, and again, it's a kind of a shift, the kind of thinking in a different way. I think that's the way I would kind of look at it. It
is a kind of thinking a lot of us have never thought of. Sorry, guys. We have another meeting coming up. But Babimbe, thank you for doing this. Let's keep building on this. I think the homework you've given us is what do we have. So did you say we have a data center in Zambia, Babimbe?
Yes, we have a data center. Okay. It was created by Huawei, I think.
Oh, the Chinese. Yeah. Oh my God.
What they are trying to do, because it has to be sustainable. It has to be sustainable. So what they are trying to do now is to make it sustainable. They need to get revenue. So they are trying to push certain companies to host their data in those data centers.
Yeah.
But then, what is the capabilities? What are you going to have in those times? So you have a situation where they will go down. No bandwidth, no whatever. Part is missing.
Anyway, thank you. We have a lot to unpack. Not to surface. Like I said, I'll repeat. What we are going to do, Francis, is to start going sector by sector. Invite Agriculture Minister, come here. We have a deep dive into the sector. Like when I was listening to the speech by Bimbe, I could hear opportunity after opportunity after opportunity. Oh, I can invest into that. Oh, I can do that. Yeah.
Every line has got maybe 5 projects that can come up.
Yeah. So you are very right. But we need to start going deep and unpacking this for ourselves and for the people we love. Gentlemen, thank you for doing this Saturday. It's still morning here where I am. Brother Manny, thank you for coming secretly, but I'll send you next time an invitation. That way I know how many people. But this was good. Francis, thank you. Cambo, at least this Saturday you were free this Saturday. Babimbe, thank you, my brother.
Mr. Roger, just one more suggestion. How can you make us link outside the broadcasting? Because when we are discussing, there are some questions which come up which you want to follow up on the side. Is it possible for us to have like a other group so that we can continue our discussion after the fact?
Sounds good. Mr. Francis has got one already. We have one.
We have that group.
Yeah, we can just add you in. Okay. People there don't make so much noise. There are no ladies there, so they don't talk much.
You'll be in trouble for that.
I know.
You'll be in trouble for that.
I know. I apologize. I didn't talk about you. Ladies. Please. Not me. It's not me. Thank you, gentlemen, and our ladies. We love you. Stay well. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Thank you.
Oh, man.
Thank you.